everyone and welcome to the Gooner Factory. So today we'll be talking about yesterday's game. We increase our lead at the top of the table, but it wasn't quite as straightforward as we may have liked. So I'll be talking the good and the bad from that, but also David Raya, what is going on there? I'll give you my opinion from that, and also Mikel Arteta's ban. I'll be letting you know how that will affect us. So let's get into it. So let's start with the game, and I did not expect it to play out like this at all, and maybe that's just me being confident, but I'm not sure many people in the world would have told you they expect Luton to put 3 past Arsenal. So the game started off as you would probably imagine, Arsenal having the majority of the ball, playing some nice stuff as well, but just trying to unlock the door against a team who were set up well with a back 5. And after 20 minutes, Arsenal seemed to find the correct key. Saka plays the ball to Martinelli, who improvises with a smart finish into the bottom corner. And at that point, you're thinking, right, Arsenal are really going to kick on now, because if Luton want to get back into this game, they have to try and make something happen. And you would expect that would suit Arsenal more, because then we have more space to operate. So 5 minutes after the Arsenal goal, Luton go and get a corner, their first one of the game, and they score from it, which can obviously happen, but at the same time, it's like, come on. Against these lower league table teams, you know their main threat is usually going to come from a set piece. So to not be aware of that from the first corner was a bit disappointing, really, but you would expect that would have switched on the Arsenal players a bit. So the game kind of drift till half time. The better play obviously coming from Arsenal, but it certainly wasn't vintage Arsenal. But then right before half time, nice little link up play between Saka and Ben White, who floats a perfect ball into Jesus, who really just needed to stick his head on it. It was one of them crosses where it would have seemed harder to miss. And that's a massive boost for any team to score just before half-time. It's like a dagger to the other team, because I'm sure Luton would have been chuffed with going in at half-time at 1-1. So you would think that would have taken the wind out of their sails. Maybe their heads would have dropped as well, but not this Luton team. 4 minutes after half-time, they equalise. Coming from, again, would you believe it, a corner. David Raya makes a hash of it. He comes to either like slap or punch the ball away, but he gets beaten in the air by the Luton player, Adebayo. And you're just thinking, come on, that's the last thing we need now, is to gift them a goal. So now it's 2-2. You've still got about 40 minutes to score. So at this point, you're obviously still feeling annoyed, but you're optimistic. You're expecting at least another goal from Arsenal. So what happens? Less than 10 minutes later, Raya has another howler. Barkley was in the box. He shot the ball centrally, and Raya just like falls over the ball, and he left a gap for it to squeeze under him. It was an awful mistake. And at that point, the camera can't stop panning to Raamsdale to just like stir up the Arsenal fans watching from home that little bit more. And it does leave you feeling frustrated, because at that point you're thinking we should never change the keeper. Raamsdale was the best keeper in the league last season, as voted in Team of the Year. This is on Arteta. He's tried fiddling too much. And then the frustration kind of just turns to knee, because at this point you just need Arsenal to score. You don't know where it's going to come from, but 3 minutes after they score, who pops up? It's Germany's left back once again, Havertz, another goal, and another goal Gabriel Jesus was heavily involved in. So now it's 3-3. There's 30 minutes left, and you're thinking this can't be anything other than an Arsenal win. So we keep pushing. It just wasn't happening for us. So up until about 85 minutes, you're expecting another goal. And then up to like 90 minutes, you're starting to think, oh, what about if we don't get another one? Then after 90, you are just straight panic. You're actually contemplating the possibility of losing points at Luton, knowing that Man City and Liverpool play tomorrow. And you know Liverpool played Sheffield United. So we get 6 minutes added time, and at this point we've played 96 minutes. One more ball floats in, knocked away to the edge of the box. Little 1-2 with Zinni and Odegaard. We got one last cross before the whistle blows. The ref's basically got the whistle in his mouth. The ball comes in, and Declan Rice, the £100 million man, rises higher than anyone else. He nods in the winner in the 97th minute. Absolute chaos ensues, not only on the pitch, but in my living room as well. The neighbours probably didn't appreciate it at 10:15 at night, but so many Arsenal fans did. That moment was massive. That was one of them moments that you only get like a couple of times a season if you're lucky. I haven't celebrated a goal like that since last season. Reece Nelson against Bournemouth. You know, there's something about a last second winner that you just can't beat. Obviously, we've had better wins this season. Man City, for example, was a better win. But that last night was a better moment because there's jeopardy. You go from thinking it should be a comfortable night to going behind twice, it being 3-3 for over 30 minutes, and then your head's whizzing. You're right near the end. You're pondering the possibilities of how damaging a defeat could be. And last kick of the game, someone finds a moment. Someone gives you exactly what you've been wishing for, and it's just everything you would imagine. It's massive for the team, massive for the manager, and it is massive for our title campaign. And now we just sit back and watch our rivals feeling slightly more confident in the fact they know they need to win. And they would have been thinking, yes, they finally slipped. But no, now their game becomes a must win. Now they have to deal with the pressure. And I'm not saying they can't handle it. I'm just saying I'll be watching their game now with a little more comfort. You know, I can put a little bit of ice in the drink now, sit back and chill. No, and even if they're still to win, they are still below Arsenal. So what did we learn? We learned that Ben White is still Ben White. He came back into the team for a tomiyasu that's having probably the best period in an Arsenal shirt. And Ben played like he never left. Beautiful assist. He was composed defensively, sharp with his passing. He's a real rugged, but also pleasing on the eye footballer. And then Gabriel and Saliba. I mean, we conceded 3 goals, but you would probably say none of them were their fault. I mean, you have 2 corners, but also you have 2 goals that the keeper should probably save. Who we're going to come on to now, by the way. I mean, what do you do there? How are we actually going to find a solution going forward? Is it to just persist with Raya and hope he eventually comes good? Or do we go back to a Raamsdale whose confidence is shot to bits? I mean, it's a real problem Arteta has created unnecessarily. So many people didn't understand the decision when he made it, and they don't understand it now. And I know Arteta obviously didn't expect Raya to come in and start throwing the ball in his own net, but goalkeeping is all about confidence. You only need to hear from people like Ben Foster to know that if you don't have confidence as a goalkeeper, you are in big trouble. And how much confidence can you have really as a keeper when you know right behind you, you have last season's best keeper in the league? Look, I don't know what the answer is, but luckily I'm not the one that has to make that decision. But if someone's asking me what I would do, then I would go back to Raamsdale, because yeah, he made a couple of mistakes last game as well, but we've seen the proof in him. We know he is actually a good keeper. We've actually seen it as an Arsenal fan. So if he can gain back his confidence, we know for sure there's a good keeper there. But with Raya, it feels like you're just hoping. But look, Arteta, he's probably going to stick with Raya. I mean, he probably has to. He was the one who brought him in on loan. He identified him and he offered him a permanent contract as well. So if this doesn't work, it's a failing on Mikel Arteta's part. So it is unlikely that he's going to accept defeat on it just yet. Now, speaking of Arteta, he did pick up a yellow card after we scored the winner, apparently because he got out of his seat. Now he misses the trip to Villa because that's his 3rd of the season. And how damaging could that be? Look, honestly, I wouldn't say too much. I mean, just because you don't have your manager on the sideline, that doesn't mean you haven't done all your tactical work midweek or studied the footage. So in terms of impact from Arteta not being able to stand on the side of the pitch, I wouldn't expect that to take away from the performance on the pitch. Unless we lose, then I'll probably blame it all on that. But yeah, I'll speak more on the Villa game tomorrow when I do the look ahead video. That will be dropping tomorrow. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard on this video. What did you think of that performance from Arsenal yesterday? What did you think of that performance from Raya yesterday? Would you switch back to Raamsdale, or do you think we kind of just have to sit with Raya now and see what happens? Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. If you could, just quickly hit that like button and subscribe. It helps me out massively, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.